Man, that's
The
almost all.
27th of July, 2025. Tom Crawford, Kerry Keaton here on the Crawford Podcasting Network. Coach Keaton and Crawford. Football is in the air amongst all the muggy hot weather, but hey, we're going to get a break in a few days. I'm loving that. And Big Ten Media Days this past week. We'll touch on that briefly, although that is just a nonstop PR machine from BTN feeding Gopher questions to the coaches and players, and you don't get to see the scrum. It was the first Big Ten Media Days I have not attended in 16 years, but I think it's going to come back to Indy next year. I think this was a logistical situation. They were forced to go outside of Indy. They chose Vegas to appease the four schools on the new Big Ten schools from the old Pac-12. Let's unpack, though, Kerry Keaton, a weekend, a gathering of you former Spartan Dogs, as you call yourself. It's a 2-day event. You're involved in part of it involving Jonathan Smith and breakdown with position groups. And what's your vibe? Just kind of give us an overview of what that is like as a Spartan alumnus, football player, and the overall vibe you drew for this year's 2025 green and white team.
I gotta say, it was, well, like you said, but before we're quick about the whole BTN thing, like, my God, how many times you gonna replay the interviews like over and over and over?
You turn it. Yeah, that's just because it missed it. It's timeless, but it's the same
old stuff being regurgitated. Like, give me something different.
It's the same kind of questions.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: why I go to the Big Ten Media Days is not for what you see on TV.
Right. We talked about that.
Of the 18 coaches, and then the panel stuff, which is ridiculous. It's the scrum.
Yeah.
And where the coaches, and there's not a live feed, there's people grabbing video. That's when you have players and coaches let their guard down a little bit. It's more compelling enough.
That's when you get the good stuff.
And that's right. But you don't see that, and that's the best part of Big Ten Media Days.
Yeah.
That's why I go.
Right.
Anyway,
but 2025 Spartan Dawg Con got kicked off Friday with the golf outing at the Brookshire. Hell of 100 guys out there, all the coaches. It was. I didn't get a chance to. I don't know, because I don't golf, but I got to start making my way out there. I was some other stuff I was trying to do. But with their guys, I had a great time, great pictures. And then talked to a lot of them again on Saturday, where we met at the Duffy and at the Izzo or the Sked. Who knows what the name they call it now? Whoever dropped the most money gets to throw their name on it. So we met there for breakfast, and then and fellowship with all the guys and the guys and you the guys from your era, and then you try to get yourself to introduce yourself to new guys you don't know, so you can you try to familiarize yourself with the new guys, and it just makes you feel good, because you may not see those guys. You may see them for homecoming, come back or some things, but like myself personally, like with coaching football, it's hard. Or like my daughter, she's playing volleyball. I don't get a chance to go to all those games because I may be gone. So this is like really like one of the good chances I get a chance to see, my guys from our era, from 86 and 91, that kind of stuff. And it is just good. It's just good to see them, because as we're getting older, we're losing guys. And I got to hang out with Coach Farraco again, as always, a pleasure, and his homeboys from 65, 66 days, and listen to them stories. And that just makes you feel good just in general, because those guys are almost 80 years old, and they're still able to.
I'm sure Robert Viney was in part of that group.
I did not see Mr. Viney. Uh,
He typically gets so that
yeah,
65 year those guys are tight. And they're losing guys left and right. It's pretty sad.
yeah. So that's so that's why these things are so important, in my opinion, to attend. One because it's your program. Two, because nobody's promised tomorrow. You got to you have to take advantage of that. So seeing those guys, it just makes you feel good. And then listening to when you asked about the vibe, listening to Coach Smith. It's very informative because it talked about how things are going with the um how the how this landscape of college athletics is changing now with the monies and the NILs and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a firm believer. I would love to get rid of the what do they call it, the collectives, get rid of that and just make it so the playing field was more fair for everybody. Um, but I don't know how that'll work.
Well,
That's
the collectives are legalized under the table, one on one.
yeah, basically,
Basically
yeah,
donor to player.
yeah. Which which is never
Contribution,
what
which is going to
which is
make
never what it was supposed to
right,
be. But
right.
anyway, we got a chance to learn and be educated and how that stuff is working with our program and what we're doing and just how we can help and trying to figure out ways where we can help our kids and help our program get better. And then we also had a chance to talk to the coaches. I always go with Coach M and the offensive line, and how he's feeling. We got our new portal guys in, and how they've adjusted and doing well. And then like I said, we got to talk to how they're working, how our NIL stuff is working, and Spartan Nation, all that kind of stuff. And it's just the vibe. Then we got to talk to the players. We have 4 or 5 panel player to those kids could talk and their vibe and it was really positive. Which I mean, like we always talk about, everybody's positive now because everybody's undefeated and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But you could tell where the kids bullshitting you or not. You
Well,
know,
let me
it,
ask you this. Let's cut the chase on this vibe thing, okay? Because I talked to former Michigan State players that I know, and I know, or my takeaway from those conversations are, this program needs to get to 7 or 8 wins, and it needs to beat Michigan, or there needs to be some kind of change or whatever. I'm not asking for specifics in your dialogue with your former Spartans, but did you get that feeling, vibe that, hey, they better deliver this year? They got to have one. They've had 3 losing seasons in a row. It better not be a fourth. Did you get that?
well, well, I guess yeah. I guess you could say yes and no because yes, because that's 3. Like you said, 3 losing seasons and no bowl games, and that's not good for anybody. No, nobody wants to go through that. However, that was only year 1 last year for the new staff, the new changes, trying to get new people. Maybe could have did a couple things different here, there, whatever. You know, this only the second year, I believe, in watching what I saw in the spring and talking to my people and the workouts and talking and looking at the kids and looking at the transformations of some of the kids. I believe we will have a winning season this year. I believe whether we beat Michigan, and I mean who knows that I ain't Nostradamus. I can't. It'd be great if we did. It's at home. We had a very good chance to beat them last year and didn't. But you know, I don't know if that's a deal breaker. But
Yeah.
they gotta be competitive. You can't go get whooped for
Yeah.
sure. That's not gonna fix anything. We have to be very competitive, which I think we will be. And we gotta win. We gotta win enough games, and we gotta make a bowl game, sure.
Yeah.
Because with the new AD, who has no ties to anybody in the program right now,
Right.
you know, he's going to be expecting, the best, and we have to deliver. I firmly believe that. But to say that, I've not said it before. Like, if we don't, I wouldn't be surprised if there was, a change, because that's where we're at right now, especially if monies and things of that nature are raised to the level of a lot of the other. I mean, we're not poor by any stretch of the imagination. Don't get me wrong, but we're not throwing money around like the Ohio States and the Texas and Michigan. Even we're not throwing that kind of money around.
Yeah.
But you got to be. We're competitive. We're competitive in that.
Right.
So with that being said, it needs to show up on the field for sure. And I think that we're headed in that right direction. I truly believe a winning season in a bowl game is definitely there. And we talked about it before. Those first 3 games are crucial, especially being at home. We need to take care of those, and then we go on the road to SC, which is winnable, because who knows who shows up for SC, right?
September 20th and at USC at the Coliseum. Should be a good Michigan State contingent there, a good large alumni base out there.
Absolutely.
That is a critical game. And the other aspect of critical, in my opinion, and you got exposed to that group, you said you met with the offensive lineman, Aiden Childs, his success or lack thereof is dictated on pass protection and the ability to run block to get a run game going. And if that happens, Michigan State will be back in the competitive mix in every game. If it doesn't happen, then the other thing happens. Where
you, sir,
yeah,
as you've been watching football for your 60 plus years,
69
are 100% correct, because the quarterback is only going to be as good as the people that are blocking for him,
yep,
and the backs that are running for him,
yep,
and the wide receivers that are catching the balls for him.
yep.
He can't be good if he's running for his life or trying to throw the ball from his back.
He was running for his life, throwing off his heels the whole time. I always remember this about this. Oh my God. I think this was Perlis's first year. You remember Dave Urema?
Sure.
From Brother Rice? I mean, I think Perlis, this is after Muddy Waters left. So Perlis says, listen, we can't pass pro this guy. They just rolled Urema out. They just rolled him out like every snap to buy time. And he was versatile enough to buy time.
Right.
And that was that bad. And then he got that O-line going, and look at what 1987 brought.
Sure.
But
it's
so vital. So vital.
That's the key. And I watching those guys or watching the work they put in, and I want to believe that we will be functional enough, if not better than that, to make those things a possibility, because Aiden Childs is a phenomenal athlete.
I think so too.
Given the opportunity, I think he could do special things. And we got some guys in that are gonna hopefully be able to help Nick, so they can't just roll coverage over top of him and play, cover, and cover him man and under and that kind of stuff. We got guys now that could take the top off, and he just has time. He just has to have time to be able to deliver those balls. And then if we can run it enough, the play action game is,
play action's where it's at. Because
where it's at.
I mean, you're a two-dimensional team. Those linebackers have to think before they react.
Absolutely. And I mean, all the way to what we do at East Lansing. Our play action game is amazing. If we don't have a running back, if we don't have a running game, play action don't work for nothing, because ain't nobody going anywhere. They sitting right there waiting. They're going to be running out of there and getting underneath the coverages and all that stuff. So you are 100% correct. The line has to be better, which I think they will be. We got some good guys in there. We got some guys that want to be there and want to be a part and working and getting better. And I'm cautiously optimistic, because you know, it is what it is. But I truly believe because of the way and listening to him, it ain't all about the fluff. We're here to win. We're here to get better and win football games. And I think that's what those young men are out there doing.
Yeah.
And knowing what they're going through, what they've gone through, I'm here to support them. And I'm excited. I'm excited for them because I think they, 1 year, now it's second year, and all those guys have been there. We lost Coach Martin. He went back to the West Coast, which God bless him. That's good for him because that's where he's from. So, but I think we replaced him with another good coach, and one more continuity. The staff is there. The guys have been there. I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic for the season, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get over that hump and get the positive side wins and get ourselves to a bowl game and that kind of thing. And then we can sneak up on a few people here or there. Hey, you never know.
Let me get back to that offensive ingredient because I think in Joe Rossi, you have one of the better DCs in the country.
For sure.
Do a great job. And looking at the personnel on Michigan State's two deeps, there's enough talent there to have a good defense. And Michigan State historically is a physical mentality program and defense. But back to the offense, say the offensive line maturation is there. You don't have to worry about wide receiver, in my opinion. It's not a negative. It's more of a positive. I mean, Nick Marsh is not Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State or Ryan Williams at Alabama, but he's pretty damn good as a deep threat.
Sure.
Particularly between the hashes, man. The guy can get behind the defense.
No doubt.
So that's a threat. But the key thing is then to me is your running back situation in terms of ability to hit those holes and also ancillary pass pro for Aiden Childs to protect him because you have to at least of that 2 or 3 man rotation, you have to have a protector out there who can throw his body in there to buy an extra 1.5 seconds for Aiden Childs. Do you see that in your personnel or not?
I personally have not watched the running backs that much. The times I got to go out there for practice, I was a little sketchy this year because I was working so much. But I think that's one of those things where if you don't, then you won't play. So you have to be willing. And that, that's going to take care of itself. And like I said, the line has to be functional enough to give those guys
I understand
the room to move.
Number one, I get that, but I'm just saying, in a collective and a collaborative effort, you have to have good running backs to hit those goals. And
no question.
I'm just saying, was there any draw that you got, or who that guy might be?
No, I can't comment educated enough on that because I don't. I just don't.
No, I get it.
Because I know that they're only going to be as good as the guys up front.
That's true.
So I just didn't really pay enough attention. I will when practice starts. Now I'll be able to give you a better feel when practice starts because I'm going to be out there pretty much every day if I can, especially when they get the pads on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like watching the pajama practices because that's just wasting my time. I won't see somebody in there getting smacked, But the way the NCAA got it now, man, it's so hard because they don't get to hit too much these days. They got so much stuff they got to do with the shells and then with just whatever. So, but when you talked about Nick, though, the thing about Nick, yes, he can get behind, but if there's nobody to attract attention from the other side,
right? I get it.
Now we're playing over top of him and underneath of him.
So who is that guy? Could Evan Boyd be that guy?
Evan could be. I don't know if Evan's going to take the top off because he's not a blazer. But we got 2 guys that came in. They can flat out get it.
Mm-hmm.
They could get down the field, and that's going to be. Again, if he has time to do it, that's going to be exciting for us because now you're not just going to be able to stay over here and double up, Nick. You're going to have to, play accordingly to good guys on the field. And again, when they get the opportunities, they have to deliver. Because just because you're open, now you still got to catch the ball. Because as we always talk about, 2 out of 3 things we throw the ball are bad. Either it's intercepted or they drop it.
Yeah.
So, you got to catch the ball, which Evan Boyd's going to be a problem because he catches the ball.
And
he's a big physical kid.
Decent length.
Oh yeah, 6'2", 6'2.5", very strong kid, and he's just gotten so much better. Like you said, from your son coaching him at Central to now, it's like he's definitely on that rise coming up. So I'm excited about that. Like I said, I'm excited about that side of the ball. If we get the functionality from the O-line, the sky could be the limit for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I have to ask a question for you. And I haven't seen this. Did I hear something? Lincoln Riley said that the head coach of the USC Trojans, that USC is the biggest brand in the Big Ten, is the most vibrant brand in the Big Ten. I think, whoa, baby.
Well, he probably has to say that to make himself feel good. But the biggest brand, obviously, you start with Oregon because hell, they got Uncle Phil as the thing. But
I still think
Michigan and Ohio State. I mean, my goodness, like just stop already. Just stop, son. I mean, just look at the merchandising alone for Michigan and Ohio State. It's like just that doesn't even. I mean, he has to do that to make himself feel better and to push his program. Whatever. No, they're not. It's not a small, but like you said, that's a pro town. He's fighting for.
Well, we're not talking about the days of Charles White and
Marcus Allen. Those days.
Yeah, those days have been gone. And the thing about USC, and this is where I think on September 20th, you're going to be surprised that the large percentage of the crowd will be Michigan State people. And same thing with Michigan on October 11th when they go out. Unless USC is vying for a national championship legitimately, that town,
they don't show up.
No, it's a pro town. It's the Chargers, it's the Rams. Well, it's the Lakers mentality. You listen to sports talk radio out there, it's all it is about Lakers. And the Dodgers, obviously, defending world champs. USC's got to hit it out of the park. I think that's where the insecurity in Lincoln Riley, he's got to deliver. That game, I'm telling you what, for both schools, USC and Michigan State, is huge.
Definitely, especially if we can get out to a 3-0 start.
Yeah. Well, I know that's required.
That's really huge for us.
That's required. But if you can compound that with a win over USC
on the road,
yep.
And then we have the bye week after that, so we're going into the bye week 4-0.
Yep.
Like, you're feeling good. You're feeling real good about the rest of the season. But yeah, to your point, I don't know how many times, because I'm a fan of college football, so I'm a fan of USC. I'm a fan of that stuff is awesome.
I agree.
But and if they're winning, that means that the college football is good. But I don't know how many times I've turned on the television and half the stadium's empty.
I know, it's disgusting. I mean,
they got so many other things to do.
Well, there's traffic. There's the beach. But and no, you know what it is that USC as a private school, it takes incredible amount of, you have to get into that school, you need a lot of money, and you need the academic requirements unless you're a Hollywood actor.
Right. Unless
right?
Unless you can buy your way in with the fake stuff.
The fake stuff, okay. But their alumni don't live. I mean, it's not like Michigan State has a huge, there's a lot of people around here that went to Michigan State, including you. They don't do that at USC. It's like Northwestern. I mean, these small private schools,
They don't show up.
You know, they go elsewhere to live and do. You know, they're high achieving people, and
For
I think
sure.
that's part of it. And then, so yeah, so the subway alumni, for lack of a better term, in Greater Los Angeles and Orange County and LA County. Oh yeah, we'll show up, but you better be in the hunt to get to the
If you're
playoffs.
winning,
We don't want anything to freaking do with you. I'm not gonna waste my time fighting in
we'll
traffic.
show up.
Yeah.
We'll show up if you're winning. And Pete Carroll did it right to get them celebrities to come to practices and do all that. Hey, they but they were winning though. They're winning national championships.
The celebrities don't show up until it's winning time. Till it's, at the end of the year, they'll show up when they're in the hunt.
Absolutely.
USC is a very interesting dynamic of how that program support is and lack thereof. But so you're right. So many times, and that's a terrible stadium. It's old, 1932 Olympic. It's archaic. You got the track. It's not good. The sight line. I mean, there's a lot of bad seats in that stadium. And that's part of it too. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, and then we're gonna have the Olympics in there again here coming up at 28. So
yeah, well, they're gonna redo it, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of remodeling. Anyway, Kerry, great job as always. It's always awesome to get your inside perspective on the Michigan State football program because we have such a large following of our podcast, our Spartan fans. So camp opens for Michigan State, I believe, on Tuesday because they start they start on a Friday night, and their opener, and so they start practice through Michigan, and the rest of the Saturday, starting September or August 30th, they start practice this Wednesday. So we'll have plenty to talk about, and your insider information will help from the Michigan State perspective. And I'll try to grasp as much as what's going on down in Ann Arbor. And I'm looking forward to being part of that media again this fall. So great job, Kerry.
appreciate the opportunity, sir, as always.
And as always, as you end
Go green.
go blue.